if you think I will drink of the water, I will put Ali Asghar on the sands, these hot sands of Karbala, and then you give him the water. And as Imam Hussain places him on the floor, you see Ali Asghar's dry tongue come out. And this pulls the hearts of some of the people in the opposition.
In an act of pure evil, Umar ibn Sa'ad, the general of Yazid's army at Karbala, gave orders to his main archer, Harmala, to strike the 6-month-old son of Hussein, Ali Asghar. The irony being, the arrow used to pierce the neck of the infant was one that was more commonly used to kill wild beasts. Hussein, by now a broken man with the deaths of his close family members, struggled to break the news to his wife, Rabab, the mother of Ali Asghar. He walked back and forth from the tent of Rabab, calling out, "Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un." Surely we are from God, and to Him we shall return.
He does this on 7 occasions. The people ask, why do you do this? He replies by stating, I do not know how to tell a mother that her 6-month-old has a neck which is completely pierced. Imam had allowed men who were able to control their thirst to go before Ali Asghar. Yet he wanted to show the world that even a 6-month-old is a symbol for justice. A 6-month-old is a symbol of sacrifice.
This was the martyrdom of the last soldier in the camp of Imam Hussain.
Hussein was now alone. His companions had been killed. Abbas, his backbone, had been killed. His nephew Qasim had been killed. His son Ali Akbar had been killed. And now his youngest son Ali Asghar had been killed. The following is a brief account of the last tragic moments of Hussein's life.
Imam Hussain advanced towards the enemy, raising his sword, losing all hope of survival. Abdullah ibn Ammar said, never have I seen someone surrounded by a huge number of enemies and whose son is slaughtered, and so are his family and companions, and who still maintained his composure, remained relentless and stayed courageous more than Hussein. He said, I am the one who is fighting you, and women are not held accountable, so keep your rogues away from them and stop them from harming my women as long as I am alive. Then he bade his family farewell for the 2nd time, ordering them to be patient. He put on the outer mantles, as he said, get ready for affliction, get ready for tribulation, and be advised that Allah Almighty shall protect and safeguard you. The ladies who were raised in the lap of prophethood saw them, the pillar of their security, the bulwark of their protection, the defender of their prestige, and the symbol of their honor, telling them of a departure from which he would never return. As for the wise lady of Bani Hashim, namely Zainab al-Kubra, she saw all of that. We see how the secure niche of the religion was about to be dislocated, the rope of prophethood to be cut off, the lantern of the Sharia to be put out. As Imam Hussain was about to leave for the battlefield, he heard a cry from behind calling out, Mahlan mahla, ya ibn al-Zahra. Wait for a moment, O son of Fatima. This is your sister Zainab. Imam Hussain stopped. His sister Zainab approached him. She said to him, Ya Aba Abdullah, our mother Fatima instructed me to do something on this day and in this moment. She wanted me to kiss you on the forehead and on your throat. Imam al-Hussain came down. She kissed him on the forehead. She kissed him on the throat. The forehead would be the target of the stone on that day, and the forehead and the throat would be severed with the dagger. Imam Hussain attacked the enemy like an angry lion. Anyone who could catch up with him, he stabbed with his sword and killed as he was receiving the arrows from all directions, bracing them with his chest and with his neck. Having become too feeble to fight, he stood to rest. It was then that a man threw a stone at him, hitting his forehead and causing his blood to run down his face. He took his shirt to wipe his blood from his eyes, just as another man shot him with a three-pronged arrow, which pierced his chest and settled in his heart. He instantly said, in the name of Allah, Bismillah, wa billah, wa fi sabilillah, wa ala millati Rasulillah. And on the creed of the Messenger of Allah, raising his head to the heavens, he said, O Lord, you know that they are killing a man besides whom there is no other son of your Prophet's daughter. As soon as he took the arrow out of his back, blood gushed forth, rubbed it on his face and beard as he said, thus shall I appear when I meet my Lord and my grandfather, the Messenger of Allah, drenched in my blood. It is then that I shall say, O grandfather, so and so killed me. The enemies of Allah waited for a short while, then returned to Imam Hussain when they surrounded him as he sat on the ground, unable to stand. Then Umar ibn Sa'd looked at the Imam, and then he said to his soldiers, Arihuh, kill him, relieve him of this pain. No one could do it. They just struck him one after the other. They kept blowing the strikes of the sword at him one after the other. No one could dare kill the Imam. They all relied on one another. Imam Hussain was now waiting only for his death. Imam Hussain was going to die from the bleeding anyway, and yet Shimr came close to him. Says, I could see and I could hear the children screaming, don't do that, don't sever our father's head. I could hear Zainab shouting, don't kill my brother. I could see Zainab crying and saying, leave my brother alone. He ran and I ran. He ran towards the killing pit while I ran towards the killer himself. He drew and I drew. He drew the dagger from his pocket while I drew a sigh of grief from my chest. He severed and I severed. He severed and I severed. He severed my brother's head while I severed my hope. أبد والله ما نجد حسينا وحسين وحسين.
After Hussein had been slaughtered on the desert plains of Karbala, the women and children of his camp were left defenseless. The decapitated bodies of Hussein's men were left to decay on the hot sands. The barbaric army of Yazid looted the tents of the family of the Prophet, setting each one on fire as they passed. The survivors from Hussein's camp were captured and taken to Damascus, not given a chance to bury their beloved dead. The responsibility of ensuring the safety of the captives and that the message of Hussein was kept alive was taken up by Zainab.